I think it goes without saying that we're seeing a lot of developers actually actively talk about the PlayStation 5, hype up the features, talk about things that we haven't heard before, and that goes a long way with absolutely exciting fans and gamers alike, and I really enjoy that. And to say lately that we've heard an abundance about the PlayStation 5 that sounds more impressive than ever would be an understatement. It gets me excited. I'm sure it gets you guys excited. You can probably hear the passion in my voice. I absolutely love hearing about the next generation consoles. I'm a tech guy. I definitely love, better tech, better graphics, all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited. And in particular, with this interview, we get some incredible information about the PlayStation 5. And what's more incredible is that it's a multi-plat developer who is basically choosing PlayStation 5 over Xbox Series X, which blows my mind because everybody knows the Xbox Series X is, quote, more powerful. But sometimes power isn't everything. Hey, what's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. Thank you to all the new subscribers, old subscribers, people who just watch. It doesn't matter. The best way you can support my channel is just by liking my videos. If you want to become a member or hit the bell so you're notified of all the content, that's always much appreciated as well. So anyway, we know that both Sony and Microsoft are going to be aiming for our dollars this holiday season. What we don't know is, exactly what they're going to do 100% to get us to buy their console over the other. Some people are going to be able to afford both, but let's be honest, most probably aren't. You're talking at probably two $500 consoles plus tax, plus games. I mean, even if you're considering Game Pass, and you got to pay up front or whatever, that could be quite expensive. So you're talking about if you wanted to get both, you better be ready to put out, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 US, and that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. So it's totally understandable why somebody maybe would only get one console. And of course, we're all looking for that reason to buy either or, correct? I know I got my reason for the Xbox One early on. They had the games that really interested me, and Sony didn't really showcase anything of much interest to me personally at first. Suffice to say, when I saw Killer Instinct coming back as a launch title, I was in right away, and that's something that I definitely don't regret. Dead Rising 3, Forza Motorsport 5, Rise Son of Rome, Titanfall, Sunset Overdrive came within that first year, Forza Horizon 2. There was just a lot of games, and Sony didn't have anything that I was particularly interested in at launch, so I waited to get a PlayStation 4 until I was sure that like Uncharted 4 and stuff like that would be coming out because I like that series. So anyway, that's the reason why I went with Xbox. The whole thing seems to be flip-flop this gen. Now I do hope that I can get both, and I hope that Microsoft gives me a reason to get an Xbox Series X. So far I haven't really seen it, but I have high hopes that on July 23rd that they'll give me a huge reason or multiple reasons to believe in that ecosystem again and get an Xbox Series X. It really kind of hurts me as an Xbox fan that they haven't given me that reason and we're just months away from a supposed launch, because I bought an Xbox console day one every time. And not just an Xbox console, mind you. I bought an Xbox day one, an Xbox 360 day one, but I also bought multiple iterations of Xbox 360 special editions. When the Xbox One came out, I bought that day one. Xbox One S, I bought that day one. Xbox One X, bought that day one. So the fact that this could be the first chance of a console of me not buying an Xbox console day one really goes to show you that they've done some things kind of wrong, in that sort of area. So at the end of the day, I do feel like that's a bit of a bummer or whatever, but at the same time, I am excited, and I do think we're going to see some good things, and I think that we're going to see some things that maybe we didn't even expect, and that brings me a lot of happiness, I got to tell you. So there is a article, and I will link it. It's an interview with a developer. They're talking about the PlayStation 5 and how what the PlayStation 5 is doing is unlike anything they've ever seen so far. Which, again, I know that sort of there's going to be some butt of the jokes when you see who the developer is and what they're developing. But once again, I think that doesn't really matter. It's just developers are really losing their minds over Sony and the PS5. So this is according to the Bugsnax developers. Young Horses, actually, they're talking about different things on the PlayStation 5 and how it has unique advantages with these features. And they were talking about the controller's haptic feedbacks, saying he never felt like anything is intricate and sensitive. This is what he had to say. Pretty much, as much any console that has vibration or rumble, it's a nice feature that sometimes can make things more immersive. but I haven't felt anything quite as intricate and sensitive as the DualSense's haptic feedback. Now, haptic feedback, of course, is going to allow developers to make players feel the difference between running on grass and running on water, and even let players know where sound is coming from through the vibration. And he says, in our game, being in first person, running on different terrain, jumping in and out of water, or running into bug snacks, you can feel the difference between running on grass versus running in water versus running on sand or snow. There's weather in our game, and if there's a thunderstorm and things of that nature, you can feel that where the sound is coming from through the vibration. Now, the PlayStation 5 DualSense adaptive triggers will also play a big part while capturing bug snacks. We're even used to the light on the controller to display how endangered you are of a bug snack escaping from a trap. We're also using the adaptive triggers. The different traps have different functionalities, and some of those are best exhibited through tension in those triggers or rumble to make them feel like you're really using them. Now, the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller is a pretty radical departure from the DualShock 4 controller, which I think is a good thing, and I've went on record as saying why I thought it was a good thing, because they aren't really complacent. Even though they've completely dominated the entire generation, they're not being complacent with this thing. They're just saying, you know, Sony's like, hey, we kicked butt this generation, but let's not stop there. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing things forward. Let's really see where we can take things, and I really enjoy that fact, and I think that Sony realizes you can't really be complacent. Even though Microsoft doesn't really claim to look at Sony as much of a threat, it's quite clear that they are taking Sony as a threat. So the DualSense is a huge departure from the previous controller, obviously, according to Sony even, and it captures just how strongly they feel about the generational leap with the PlayStation 5, along with the many innovative features. So this thing is really changing the game. And again, I'm not knocking the Xbox Series X controller. I like the Xbox controller. It's the same thing as the Xbox One controller with a share button. It's going to be great. Like, you know what you're getting. But I will say again, just like with the Xbox Series X design, it's one of those things where they didn't really break the mold or change the mold specifically to make that design. You know what I mean? There's no, in my opinion, there's no real huge departure. There's no real risk taken. It's like the very basic design the Series X is itself, and the controller, by keeping it pretty much the same as the last one. Realistically, that's all they're saying. They're like, hey, we got this controller, it worked good. If it's not broke, don't fix it. They went that route, which I can understand. I could have understood if Sony went that route. Let's be honest. They've got 115 million PlayStation 4 owners out there. It would be easy just to go, oh, well, you can take all your whole collection of controllers with you, and I guess you can. I don't know if you're going to be able to use those controllers forward compatibility with new PS5 games, but it would make total sense for them to go, oh, well, we've got this many install base, we're going to let them take the controllers and everything with them, because you are taking the games with you. So I think that to me, it makes a lot of sense to be able to go out there and sort of do these types of things. And again, I really do think that Sony kind of, they came a long way from that Sony of the PS3 era, where they were very cocky and kind of just didn't think they could do any wrong, and then they got humbled, and then they fixed things with the PS4, and they continue, I think, to be humble instead of being cocky with the PlayStation 5, and I think that's smart. I think every company needs to get humbled a little bit, and it does look like that's what happened to Microsoft. They thought they could do no wrong. The Xbox 360 was really rolling, kind of the media darling. Everybody talked about 360. It was everywhere. You had literally everybody. It was in movies, TV shows, everything. And then Microsoft screwed up, and you see how fast that happened. Like, people love to see other people fail, companies fail, and things like that. So I do think that Sony recovered. I also think that Microsoft will recover, and I do think that they're going to recover in a good way. I think that the Xbox Series X is going to be fine. Again, people think that I hate on the Xbox. It's not true. I was let down by Xbox because they gave up pretty early in this generation, and I felt kind of betrayed by that. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to do fine. Are they going to do fine for me as a hardcore fan? That's going to be probably a tough question to really answer. Now, Sony, on the other hand, I came into that kind of relationship with the PS4 a little bit later. I didn't get one until 2015, and I didn't really sink much time into those exclusives. I wouldn't say until 2018 was when I really started to notice that they have these ultimate, amazing experiences, and that was the point where I was like, whoa, there's a big difference between PlayStation and Xbox games. And that was kind of at a point where I was like, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting older, and not only am I getting older, but the games that I like are sort of changing a little bit. Where I used to be more of a multiplayer only kind of guy. Now I like those single player games, and I really want to be finished with a game in 15-20 hours, and that kind of move on to the next one. Like, I don't play hundreds of hours of multiplayer anymore like I used to, and there's really not many multiplayer games that could hold me in that long anyway. I mean, Call of Duty 4 was one on the 360. I put over 2 months of my life into that game. It's like Gears of War, the first 3, I sunk hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into those games. So there hasn't really been anything like that since then, and I just really enjoy the time that I have with like a lot of the experiences, and they just happen to be single player stuff for the most part. So that could be why I push Microsoft to do something with some pretty good single player components attached to it. Whether they listen or not, we'll know July 23rd. I will link this article in the description. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments below. Hit me up on Twitter at @_Crapgamer, Xbox Live, MOH space Crapgamer, or just PSN, just Crapgamer. And, I really appreciate the feedback and all that kind of stuff. It always means a lot to me when you take time out of your day to check out one of my videos, and it just means a lot to me. Rack 'em up. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.